The 1990s marked a turning point in fashion history. For the first time, what women wore off the runway mattered just as much as what appeared on it. Away from fashion shows and photo shoots, a new kind of influence emerged, effortless, unstudied, and deeply aspirational. Street photographs, airport sightings, and candid moments began shaping taste as powerfully as magazines. For the first time, fashion influence moved out of studios and onto sidewalks, captured by paparazzi lenses rather than editorial spreads. These women didn't just wear clothes, they defined how style lived in real life. Here are the 10 models who shaped 90s off-duty style and changed how the world dressed. You're watching Cultured Elegance. If you enjoy these videos, you're welcome to like, subscribe, and become a channel member for early access to new releases. Kate Moss. Kate Moss redefined beauty in the 1990s. Emerging in the early part of the decade, she stood in sharp contrast to the dominant supermodel ideal of overt glamour and physical perfection. Her influence marked a cultural shift toward understatement. Her off-duty wardrobe was built from deceptively simple pieces: bias-cut slip dresses, plain cotton t-shirts, leather jackets, and minimal makeup. She often wore the same silhouettes again and again, reinforcing the idea that style could be habitual rather than performative. Kate frequently mixed vintage finds with designers such as Calvin Klein, Helmut Lang, and Vivienne Westwood, pairing high fashion with secondhand staples. Paparazzi images from London and New York captured her in scuffed ballet flats, oversized knits, low-rise jeans, and barely styled hair, a look that felt unguarded in an era obsessed with image control. Nothing looked forced, nothing felt staged. Her influence lay in restraint. In a decade defined by excess and idealization, Kate Moss made effortlessness aspirational and permanently shifted the definition of modern style toward authenticity. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell's off-duty style projected authority long after she stepped off the runway, rising to prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s. She understood visibility as power and dressed accordingly. Even in unscripted moments, her clothing reflected intention. Her wardrobe relied on strong tailoring, streamlined trousers, sharply cut coats, and impeccably fitted separates from designers such as Gianni Versace, Azzedine Alaïa, and later Tom Ford for Gucci. Alaïa, in particular, played a significant role in shaping her off-duty silhouette, emphasizing precision, structure, and the natural line of the body. What distinguished Naomi's everyday style was her willingness to experiment outside editorial settings. She regularly incorporated animal prints, bold color blocking, high-shine leather, and graphic patterns into daytime looks. Slip dresses appeared frequently, styled with confidence rather than softness, often paired with structured outerwear or statement accessories. Fur coats became a recognizable element of her off-duty wardrobe in the 1990s, worn casually over tailored ensembles and minimalist dresses alike. These pieces added scale and drama, transforming ordinary street appearances into fashion moments without feeling performative. Street photography from New York, Paris, and Milan captured a consistent balance, disciplined silhouettes offset by expressive details. Oversized sunglasses, sculptural handbags, gold jewelry, and pointed footwear completed looks that felt assertive rather than decorative. Naomi's off-duty style was not an afterthought. It was an extension of her fashion authority, fearless, experimental, and unapologetically glamorous. She demonstrated that everyday dressing could still participate in fashion history, proving that presence itself can be a form of design. Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford embodied American ease, shaped by her Midwestern upbringing and later life in California. Her off-duty style reflected practicality, confidence, and approachability rather than spectacle. Her everyday wardrobe revolved around denim, white tank tops, relaxed blazers, leather jackets, and athletic-inspired pieces, clothing that felt functional and lived in. She was frequently photographed in Levi's cotton basics and classic casual staples, pairing them with clean tailoring and minimal accessories. Sneakers, flat sandals, and sunglasses completed her uniform, reinforcing a sense of ease that resonated widely with American audiences. Her look suggested health, activity, and balance, values that became increasingly influential in 1990s lifestyle culture. Her style felt approachable, but never careless. Cindy represented a form of glamour, rooted in comfort, vitality, and self-assurance. She made casual elegance feel attainable rather than aspirational fantasy. Linda Evangelista. Linda Evangelista treated off-duty dressing as a continuation of fashion itself, renowned in the 1990s for her chameleon-like ability to transform her appearance through hair, silhouette, and attitude. She carried that same adaptability into her everyday wardrobe, using off-duty moments as another space for reinvention. Her off-duty looks frequently mirrored the designers who defined her runway career. She was often photographed wearing pieces by Jean-Paul Gaultier, Yves Saint Laurent, and Versace, favoring architectural outerwear, strong proportions, and directional styling that resisted predictability. These were not diluted versions of high fashion, but clear extensions of it. Street and airport photographs from Paris, Milan, and New York captured her moving fluidly between identities, sharp tailoring one day, exaggerated volume or unexpected layering the next. This constant variation reflected her refusal to settle into a single visual formula, even outside formal fashion settings. Linda rejected the idea that off-duty style should disappear into neutrality. She blurred the boundary between runway and real life, demonstrating that personal style could remain expressive, experimental, and authoritative in unguarded moments. Her influence came from fearlessness and control. Linda Evangelista showed that off-duty dressing could still shape fashion conversation, reinforcing the idea that style is not a fixed identity, but an evolving practice. Christy Turlington. Christy Turlington represented balance in an era of extremes. While the 1990s often favored either high-gloss glamour or stark minimalism, her off-duty style occupied a quieter, more centered space. Her wardrobe favored neutral palettes, clean silhouettes, and timeless pieces, often associated with Calvin Klein, Donna Karan, and other minimalist American designers of the period. She gravitated toward simple trousers, crisp shirts, understated knits, and comfortable flats, clothing chosen for proportion and wearability rather than display. Her looks avoided excess detail, visible logos, or unnecessary embellishment. Nothing competed for attention. Every piece felt intentional, but unassuming. Christy also favored discreet luxury accessories. She was frequently photographed carrying classic Prada handbags and structured Hermes bags, using heritage craftsmanship as a quiet complement rather than a statement. There was no visual noise. Her style reflected calm confidence and inner discipline, suggesting a woman at ease with herself rather than one performing for the camera. In a fashion culture that was growing louder, her discipline felt almost radical. Christy showed that discipline, when practiced consistently, could be not only enduring but deeply influential, proving that elegance often lives in repetition, proportion, and quiet certainty. Claudia Schiffer. Claudia Schiffer's off-duty style leaned resolutely classic and European, rooted in proportion rather than trend. While her runway work often referenced glamour and femininity, her everyday wardrobe was notably similar. Away from fashion shows, she favored fitted knits, straight-leg denim, ballet flats, and elegant coats, clothing that emphasized balance and ease. These were pieces designed to be worn repeatedly, not rotated for novelty. She was frequently photographed in fun designs from Chanel, Elle, and other classic European houses, often returning to the same silhouettes rather than chasing seasonal shifts, with an emphasis on carefree glamour. Claudia's influence was grounded in continuity. At a time when fashion was becoming increasingly fast and image-driven, she demonstrated that classic style, worn with confidence and consistency, never loses relevance. Carla Bruni. Carla Bruni brought intellectual elegance to off-duty dressing. Her style reflected thoughtfulness rather than ornament, favoring clothing that supported presence rather than commanding attention. Before becoming widely known outside fashion, she moved easily within artistic and literary circles, and that background informed a wardrobe that felt considered and inward rather than performative. Her everyday dressing relied on tailored trousers, crisp white shirts, fine-gauge knits, and classic outerwear, pieces that emphasized clarity, line, and structure. There was a deliberate absence of excess, visible logos, or overt styling. Everything served proportion and movement. Often photographed in Yves Saint Laurent, Celine, and minimalist French tailoring, her looks were built around neutral palettes and precise cuts. The simplicity of her wardrobe allowed posture, expression, and demeanor to carry meaning rather than decoration. Carla's influence was subtle but enduring. She demonstrated that elegance could be contemplative, built on quiet confidence rather than spectacle. Elle Macpherson. Elle Macpherson helped redefine off-duty style as a lifestyle rather than a look. Born and raised in Australia, her upbringing near the coast shaped a natural, practical sensibility that emphasized ease, movement, and confidence rather than overt display. While the 1990s often equated casual dressing with athletic wear, Elle's off-duty style leaned toward elegance and structure. Her everyday wardrobe favored relaxed silhouettes, fluid trousers, simple tanks, lightweight knits, and softly tailored pieces, clothing that allowed comfort without appearing informal. She was less often photographed in overt workout attire, instead choosing polished, composed ensembles that balanced refinement with wearability. Classic blazers and clean outerwear were frequent anchors in her wardrobe, adding definition to otherwise relaxed looks. Elle also incorporated high fashion into her daily wear. She was regularly seen carrying Hermes handbags and wearing a silk Hermes scarves, using heritage luxury as a quiet accent rather than a statement. Her style reflected a health-oriented sensibility grounded in self-possession. Elle showed that off-duty dressing could be elegant, relaxed, and aspirational, shaped as much by lifestyle as by fashion. Karen Mulder. Karen Mulder represented understated European polish at its most consistent. Her off-duty wardrobe favored soft fabrics, refined proportions, and classic silhouettes, clothing that emphasized harmony rather than drama. She gravitated toward neutral tones, simple shirts, colorful dresses, and high-quality materials. These choices reflected the quiet elegance associated with continental fashion houses such as Chanel and Valentino. There was little ornamentation and no visual excess. Her style avoided trend-driven statements in favor of repetition and balance. Karen's influence lay in consistency. She demonstrated that enduring style does not require constant reinvention, only thoughtful repetition and proportion. Helena Christensen. Helena Christensen brought warmth and individuality to off-duty style, offering a counterpoint to the sharper minimalism of the 1990s. Born in Copenhagen to a Danish father and Peruvian mother, her background shaped a sensibility that felt relaxed, intuitive, and personal. Her wardrobe reflected a love of relaxed elegance and femininity. Away from the runway, she favored layered outfits, soft textures, cardigans, slip dresses, and gently structured coats, pieces chosen for comfort and ease rather than strict uniformity. She was especially drawn to Prada, whose understated design aligned with her preference for quiet refinement, alongside minimalist labels like Calvin Klein and Anne de Molemeister. Helena's influence humanized minimalism. She showed that the extremes of the 1990s could still feel feminine, expressive, relaxed, and refined without excess. Individually, their styles were distinct. Together, these 10 women transformed fashion beyond the runway. They shaped how women dressed for real life, for airports, city streets, and everyday moments. Off-duty style in the 1990s wasn't about spectacle. It was about confidence, restraint, and authenticity. And decades later, their influence still guides how modern wardrobes are built. Because true style isn't staged, it's lived. Let me know in the comments which model and fashion designer defined the 1990s for you. If you enjoyed the video, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and become a channel member for early access to new releases. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.